Calamity Jane is the 30th adventure of Lucky Luke, first published in 1967. Created by Rene Goscinny and Morris, the comic is based on the Wild West's legendary Calamity Jane. In 1984, this comic was animated for television by Hanna-Barbera's production company. How faithful was this adaptation? Let's spot the differences. Lucky Luke is swimming in a river when he is ambushed by some Apache Indians. He is saved by the fast-shooting and foul-mouthed Calamity Jane. In the adaptation, Luke is attacked by a small gang of outlaws who want to steal his horse, Jolly Jumper. And instead of being completely nude, the cowboy is still wearing his hat and carrying his six-shooter.
Tarnation! You're a woman!
So, wanna make something of it?
Nope. I want to thank you, ma'am.
Don't ma'am me!
In the comic, Calamity tells Lucky Luke her backstory, based on the real-life Calamity Jane's life. Born Martha Jane Canary in 1850, she worked as a cavalry scout and claimed to be the lover of Wild Bill Hickok, but most historians doubt this to be true. Regardless, the alleged relationship only lasted a couple of years due to Hickok's murder in 1876. In the comic, she says her other occupations were railroader, gold digger, and Pony Express rider. In real life, she ran an inn during the 1880s, and in the 1890s, she joined Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Calamity Jane died in 1903, and is buried next to Wild Bill Hickok. Anyway, back to the cartoon.
Those varmints skedaddled so fast, they dropped one of their fancy shooting irons.
It's an army rifle, Calamity. It's been stolen.
So I noticed. Give it back. I found it.
Luke is on his way to the town of El Plomo, as he is investigating who has been selling guns and bullets to the Apaches. In the adaptation, he is on the hunt for whoever has stolen rifles from the army and is selling them to outlaws. The episode introduces August Oyster by establishing he is the man who is selling the cavalry's guns to bandits, while in the comic this is not revealed until many scenes after this one. The laid-back sheriff of El Plomo doesn't appear in the episode, but Rin Tin Can does.
Well, tarnation if it isn't Bushwhack.
He belong to you, Luke?
If Luke says yes, it's all over between us.
As this was a program aimed at children, Calamity Jane orders a glass of lemonade rather than a bottle of hard liquor.
What a dad-blame dive!
Well, this dad-blame dive don't allow Dame.
It do now!
Calamity decides she wants to settle in El Plomo and buy August Oyster's saloon with her bag of golden nuggets. Oyster refuses, so she challenges him to an arm wrestle, though he substitutes his right-hand man, Baby Sam.
Give the lady a hand, Sam.
In the comic, extra tension is added by 2 candles placed on either side of the table, meaning instead of breaking his side of the table, Baby Sam gets burned.
Lemonade for everybody! On the house! My house!
We'll see about that.
I reckon I wouldn't try it if I was you.
Calamity Jane tries to class up the saloon by adding a tea room. She forces the editor of the town newspaper to teach her how to cook crumpets. She doesn't get an assistant in the episode, and even Bushwhack thinks her crumpets taste terrible. Baby Sam and some other varmints start shooting up the saloon, but are chased away when Lucky Luke starts throwing Calamity's rock-hard crumpets at them. In the comic, she threw her crumpets at the men in the saloon for refusing to eat them. Also, Calamity quickly takes cover when the villains start shooting at her, instead of standing still, allowing them to repeatedly miss her.
You try one, Luke.
Thanks, but, say, sounds like you got customers.
Then I better take these.
That was close.
Gomino, chief of the Apaches, visits August Oyster in his hotel room to inquire about his next shipment of shooting sticks. In the adaptation, Oyster and Baby Sam are in a cabin outside of town, and, as I already explained, the men awaiting weapons are an unnamed gang of outlaws.
But boss, the guns are hidden under the hotel, and we can't get inside to get them.
Then you get them from the outside.
Lucky Luke catches Baby Sam pouring kerosene on the saloon, and stops him before he sets it on fire. In the adaptation, Baby Sam digs a hole next to the saloon and tosses a lit stick of dynamite in it, which is retrieved by Bushwhack, who was looking for a hole to hide one of Calamity's crumpets. In the comic, the saloon still catches fire, but on the inside, as Calamity forgot to take her crumpets out the oven.
Oh boy, that big man wants to play fetch. Now I wait for him to throw the stick again.
Come on, Ma! We sprung you! Oh, hello there!
August Oyster speaks with the Ladies' Guild of El Plomo and convinces them they need to rid their town of the scandalous and shameful Calamity Jane. Luke appeases the situation by telling the ladies Calamity wants to join their club. He does so off-screen in the episode. To teach Calamity how to conduct her mannerisms to that of a lady, Luke telegrams the Denver School of Etiquette, who send Professor Robert Gainsborough, a caricature of the British actor David Niven. During the 10-page course of his visit, he is unable to cope with Calamity Jane's masculinity, causing him to seek solace in alcohol, and when he leaves, his personality has completely altered to that of a tough, dishevelled cowboy. In the adaptation, before arriving in town, Gainsborough is captured by Deadwood, a crooked cavalry sergeant working for Oyster. Deadwood pretends to be Gainsborough so he can gain access to the saloon and its hidden stash of rifles, a plan that has little to no practicality to it. How is Deadwood supposed to remove barrels full of rifles from a hidden cellar under the saloon cellar on his own without being noticed?
At your service, ma'am.
Calamity, why'd you do that?
Ask him why I tried to bite my dad-blamed hand.
Presumably this change was made so our heroes were inflicting misfortune onto a villain, rather than spoiling the life of a professional gent. Deadwood is unmasked and Gainsborough is freed.
And my heartfelt gratitude to you, Miss Calamity. Whoops!
Enough of this dad-blamed etiquette stuff.
You call this guy well-mannered?
Lucky Luke's suspicion that the rifles are hidden in the saloon cellar is proved correct when Bushwhack digs another hole. In the comic, Luke finds a tunnel in the cellar that leads to an old mine, where rifles and ammunition are kept in barrels of beer and cases of whiskey. He catches August Oyster and Baby Sam when they come to collect them for Chief Jomino.
I'm a mite disappointed. Reckoned I'd find some stolen rifles. Nothing down here but bushwhack!
The Apaches attack the town, as August Oyster warned Luke they would, and so he and Calamity, who is wearing a dress to impress the Ladies' Guild, charge against the Injuns, who retreat at the sight of the fierce squaw they are familiar with. After the short shootout, the Ladies' Guild tell Calamity Jane that they have decided to accept her invitation, because what she lacks in etiquette, she makes up for in courage. In the adaptation, it is August Oyster, Baby Sam, and the three unnamed outlaws who attack the saloon, again, and retreat after a bombardment of crumpets, again, though this time it is the Ladies' Guild who do the throwing, and Luke teleports behind the villains to arrest them.
Oh boy, I better bury all of these before Calamity gives them to me.
Lucky Luke is about to leave town when he sees Calamity Jane is also saddling up, admitting she never intended to settle down, as she craves adventure too much. Even though the pair make a formidable team, they still choose to part ways. In the episode Before Our Heroes Leave Town, we see that the Ladies Guild have rebranded to the Calamity Jane Fan Club.
Thanks for the crumpet recipe.
You mean you really like 'em?
No, but they sure come in handy for clobbering dad-blamed outlaws.